What's up, guys? Welcome back to Golf Simulator videos. Here's a question I've been getting non-stop. Should I buy the UNEEKOR Eye Mini or should I buy the Foresight Sports GC3? Or maybe the Bushnell Launch Pro, which is a subscription-based version of this hardware. So I'm here to kind of go over all of the details. I've had many people ask me to kind of have a comprehensive breakdown. What is the differences between these units? Which one should I buy? Well, I believe actually some of it's going to be personal preference, but I'm going to go over the differences between all these units, and that way you guys hopefully have a better understanding of the different features, the pricing, all of those different things about everything these units have to offer. So let's just go ahead and start running this right down. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel yet, please do like the video, comment below questions you have, maybe thoughts that you have about the differences between the units, or if maybe I missed something, please comment below and make sure you include that, because I think that that's going to help other viewers of this video and they can see all those comments below. So let's just start off by talking about data of both of these units. So they essentially provide the same data. All right, if you were going to buy the UNEEKOR Eye Mini for the $4,500 MSRP, or you were to buy the fully unlocked Foresight Sports GC3 unit for $74.99, they're going to include launch angle, side angle, ball speed, total spin, carry, spin access, all your ball data necessary for full simulation. There is a ball data only version of this unit, and then there's also the Bushnell Launch Pro. I'm going to go into that pricing and differences here in a little bit, but let's just talk about the units fully unlocked with all the data that is capable. Club data, club head speed, smash factor, club path, and angle of attack. Both of the units require a sticker on the club for club data. It's a single circle reflective dot. The UNEEKOR Eye Mini goes towards the center of the toe, and then the Foresight Sports GC3 or Bushnell Launch Pro goes right towards the top center of the club. Pretty simple to put on there. It is not necessary to play simulation golf. I get that question all of the time. Why do I have to have club stickers, to use these units? Well, you don't. You're just only going to get the ball data. It might even show club data here and there, but it's not going to be, proper. You do need a sticker on the club in order for either of these units to be measuring the club data. All right, so now let's talk about next feature on the list is putting analysis, because a lot of people asked about if the Foresight Sports GC3 would have putting analysis like its big brother, the Foresight Sports GC Quad. Well, no, it does not. Does it do putting? Absolutely. So you can, use putting for simulation. Now, the interesting part about the UNEEKOR Eye Mini is it does have a putting mode. And I've talked to the developer, and essentially when it goes into putting mode, either the software sends the signal saying I'm on the green, I'm using putter, and it goes into putting mode. You can manually enter putting mode if you're out on a outdoor green, and it essentially goes into a hypersensitive mode. And it also, if you're using the view software, will even show the video of the putter going in and impacting the ball. I've shown that in previous videos, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. Very cool stuff. So I feel like it kind of goes to the edge of the UNEEKOR Eye Mini on putting specifically. Both of them I find accurate as far as putting goes, at least based on my testing so far. They're reading putts very well. You can watch both of my videos for demonstrations of all that. Now, hitting zones. This gets interesting because the Foresight Sports GC3 has 3 cameras, and then the UNEEKOR Eye Mini only has 2. But only 2 of the cameras are infrared, the top and the bottom. The center camera is not. And then the UNEEKOR Eye Mini is interesting too because it's a bigger unit, it stands up taller, and they kind of raise this camera up. And the hitting zone is 7 inches wide by 10 inches long on GC3. And it actually gets affected by the club data. So you actually get kind of a cut-off rectangle, the way that it needs to read the club data. Where when you go with the UNEEKOR Eye Mini, it is 12 inches wide by 12 inches long by 8 inches wide, so an inch wider and 2 inches longer, and that doesn't change for ball or club data. So you're getting a bigger hitting zone, and it's able to read that entire hitting zone for ball or club data. So I find that a little bit interesting. You're getting units that, this one has a 3rd camera, which no one really knows. Neither of these manufacturers want to release their secrets of what precisely each camera is reading. Could this be club data? Could this be ball? Are they a combination? How's it putting them together? And it's the same thing for Foresight, GC3. So just know that you are getting a bigger hitting area for the UNEEKOR Eye Mini. Now, let's talk about the batteries on both of them. So, fixed battery on both of them. I mean, could you technically maybe remove them on your own? I don't think that you should, but I mean, I'm sure you probably could. The batteries themselves, though, are very comparable. So, stated 5 to 7 hours on the GC3, stated 5 to 6 on the UNEEKOR Eye Mini. And, you know, I feel like I don't know if I've gotten 7 hours out of the GC3 myself, you know, so up to maybe hitting some sleep mode in between, whatever it may be. And then I'm sure you might be able to stretch out the Eye Mini the same way as well. But let's just call it maybe 5 hours minimum on both of them, if not longer. All right. And then let's talk about the displays really quick. So they are actually very different. Maybe an edge to GC3, but it's a standard transflective LCD, which does allow for touchscreen. Now the interesting part is there's no buttons at all. So you have to use the touchscreen, and I find the touchscreen okay. So it is nice being able to just go down and, you know, point and, you know, click essentially where you're trying to go. But it is a very small screen. I actually don't have the exact measurements of it here, but it sometimes can be a little tricky. You know, you're right at the top of the screen trying to get the menu to come down. It's not super responsive like an iPhone or something, just to try to, you know, compare for you. But it seems to be a decent screen. You can read it, you know, pretty easily, indoor, outdoor, it's backlit, you know, everything along those lines. Now, the Eye Mini goes for a totally different approach. So this is an e-ink screen, all right, and it is backlit. And I've shown it in videos, so check it out if you haven't seen it. I find that it's very easy to read outdoors. So that is a benefit to e-ink, the way that it kind of looks like real paper in a sense, you know, almost like a Kindle. And then it uses buttons. Now, if you know how to navigate the buttons, I've kind of become, you know, familiar with them. I can flip through menus and everything really fast. Would I like to point and click? Maybe. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you get used to touchscreen when you're using a phone every day. But, you know, I think that's right down to some personal preference there. You know, which one do you, some people like physical buttons better. So it's gonna depend on what you like. Now, here's an interesting one, barometric sensors. Now, yes, the GC3 has a barometric sensor, so it's able to, you know, put in the altitude that it is getting, that you're sitting at. So, you know, if you're 1,100 feet above sea level, for instance, you can, you know, have that algorithm calculated at 1,100 feet above sea level. The Eye Mini does have the same feature. I think that was kind of missed out of the gate. I don't know if it's in any of their documentation, honestly. I just saw it in the menu and saw that it was able to, you know, read the barometric pressure. So you do have that inside of Eye Mini. So both of those kind of equal out on that. Now, the GC3 has an accelerometer, and I don't see that listed anywhere for Eye Mini. I was going to talk to the developer about that, but I don't think it does, because they're telling you that the unit has to sit level on the ground. So you actually can't have it tilted either way. You have to make sure it's sitting at least somewhat reasonably level, and the same level as your hitting zone. All right, so both of those are stated from that. Where the GC3, I'm not sure exactly how far tilted you could have it, but it does have an accelerometer inside the unit. I think that's what's being, you know, used there. So let's talk about connectivity. This is something that comes up a lot. So both of them have Wi-Fi. Both of them have Ethernet connectivity. Both of them have USB-C ports, but only the GC3 is allowing you to use that as a connection to your PC. Even though the Eye Mini has one, they're stating, at least at this point in time, that it's only to be used from UNEEKOR, maybe for updating the device, whatever it may be. Could it be used in the future? Maybe for connectivity to PC? Possibly, but at this time, no. The GC3 does have Bluetooth, where the Eye Mini does not. It's only Wi-Fi based. Now, I don't mind that, actually. This is another personal preference thing. Some people like Bluetooth. I find it kind of a weak signal. You can't get too far away from it, where Wi-Fi seems to be really strong. You know, so I'm using Wi-Fi on both of them, really, if I'm using that for connectivity. Alignment. I think this is something important. You guys have probably seen my video showing you how to align the GC3 with the reflective stick. Or you've probably seen my video on the UNEEKOR Eye Mini, where I place 2 balls down, and that's how it locks in alignment. So could be personal preference on that. I don't really use alignment that much, I'll be honest with you. I lay the unit, you know, square to my hitting area inside, and then when I'm outside, it's actually pretty easy to sit and just look at, you know, get behind your unit and see if it's square to your target. You know, I don't always find it necessary to use those sticks. I mean, it's a convenience thing. Some people might really like it, but, you know, just want you to be aware of it. Let's talk about size really quick. 6 inches wide, 12 inches high, 5 inches deep. versus 6.5 inches long, if you want to call it that, deep, 6.6 inches wide, but 15.75 inches tall. So significantly taller, the Eye Mini is. But I almost find this could be a benefit because the unit is way up higher with that camera looking down. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's a benefit. I'm just saying I think that there was a reason that they made this taller because the camera is all the way at the top of the unit. So they're getting a different perspective. Not saying that the GC3 needs that. It has 3 cameras, and maybe that's why it has 3, to make it more compact so it has a more view. You know, it's kind of one of those unknown things that, you know, unless you had a, you know, NDA signed and you're talking to the developer or something, you might not know what's going on there. Weight, 5 pounds versus 7 pounds 15 ounces. So, you know, a little beefier, heavier unit as well. Now, let's talk about some different features and especially pricing if you're making the decision on buying one of these, because the Eye Mini is pretty simple for the most part, versus the GC3 not only has different options, but also Bushnell Launch Pro has different options. They are the same hardware, if I didn't mention that already. So GC3 and Bushnell Launch Pro, you are getting nothing different as far as the actual hardware and the capabilities of the hardware. All right, so they both have the same exact hardware. It's essentially kind of a different method of how to distribute or sell the units. So let's talk about that really quick. So if you were to buy the Bushnell Launch Pro version of this, all right, and it generally goes for $3,500. There are times where it's on sale. I think during the time I'm doing this video, they might have just launched a sale and it's $29.99. But it's a much different, you know, form of purchasing the unit because you essentially need a subscription in order to get any type of software or unlocked capabilities of the unit. So for $249 a year, you're going to get FSX Pro, which is configured for a basic subscription. You can save sessions, create a player, and record up to 14 clubs. Or you can go Gold, which includes everything in the basic, but also unlocks FSX Play. You get the Foresight range, up to 8 players, FSX Pro configured for the Gold subscription. You know, it's a totally different method essentially of, you know, distributing those units, where if you wanted to just go the Foresight Sports GC3 route, they do a couple different things. And once again, like I said, if you were going to look at one of these units, I'd suggest you almost go online and just compare all this pricing side by side. It's even tough for me to navigate through it all. But you can buy a GC3 ball enabled only. What does that mean? Well, maybe you're a person that just wants a golf simulator. All you need is the ball data. So for $59.99, they will have that ball-enabled data to where you could play simulation golf. Club data does not matter in simulation golf, so for $59.99, you could do that. Or you could get their, essentially what it's called, unlocked version, if you want to call it that, but they call it the GC3 Essentials Plus for $74.99, and it includes FSX Play, which is their simulation software. All right. You might want some other simulation software, you know, and that's kind of where I think Foresight is looking. They did announce that they were going to partner with GS Pro. That integration really hasn't gone anywhere yet. I don't know where it's going, and there are some other capabilities that have kind of been hit and miss. They partnered with, you know, E6 there for a little while, but they kind of had some connectivity and connection issues. I don't know if all that's been worked out. I'll have to kind of dive back into that and see. But, you know, really they're focusing on their FSX Play, it seems like. So if you like that software, then it may be a good value for you to go with the GC3 Essentials Plus, because you're going to get all the ball data, all the club data, and it includes FSX Play. Now, there's other bundles too. So you can get additional courses. You know, that limits you to only 10 courses on FSX Play, and I should mention that. You have to actually pay an extra $1,500 to get 20 courses, and then they sell courses individually. So it can get costly if you want a lot of courses. Then they have Sim in a Box that packages up, you know, all the projectors and screens and everything. But like I said, we're just talking about this hardware together. Now let's talk about the UNEEKOR Eye Mini and how they're packaging this. $4,500. What's nice about that is for $4,500, you're getting the View for PC software and then the View Air mobile software. Now, the reason that I like that so much is I'm getting all the ball data, all the club data, and I'm getting very powerful software. If you guys watched me cover the View software, especially for PC, I mean, PC, you can also add on their Swing Optix cameras, which is built into View, their balance mat that's coming, which is built into View. They have their cloud capable software where you can send things to the cloud and store swings, and like I said, the swing path video and the impact image of the UNEEKOR Eye Mini is very powerful. Not only do you have wedges, irons, driver, but that putter where you can actually see the putter come in and hit the ball. I think that is one of those things that's going back to personal preference. I really like being able to see what's going on. I just think it's easy and relatable. I'm not a coach, but if I were a coach, then I think that I would be showing the player, like, look at it hit the toe. That's the feeling, so it did actually hit the toe. They might not have thought it hit the toe. You can actually see it. And it's just, it's kind of confirming, what's going on. It's just nice to have. But let's talk about the different packages from there, because $4,500, it includes all your ball data, all your club data, the View for PC, it includes the Air app. You can have a profile inside of View, and you get 15 different sessions for that profile. So you can add different sessions in there. You can do a full bag mapping, for instance, with one user. Now, if you wanted to step it up for $199 a year, it's a subscription base. They're going to give you 5 profiles. And then for each of those profiles, you can have 100 sessions per user. I don't actually use that many sessions. I usually delete them unless I'm doing like a bag mapping or a comparison or something. I don't like a bunch of stuff in there. Maybe that's just my OCD, but I delete them all the time. So it depends on what you want. Now you also get that Power U report I was talking about, and I have that in a video if you want to see it, but that's where it takes those swings and data and uploads them to the My UNEEKOR, which is really nice. It's all web-based, so that's included. And then you also get the capability of hooking up to third-party software. Now, this is something that everyone's really appreciated UNEEKOR's approach on, that they are very open to third party. They basically, for that $199, you are going to be able to connect to almost every software out there. TGC, E6, GS Pro, Creative Golf. I mean, it's all available, with the UNEEKOR Eye Mini. I mean, there's probably only a few of them out there that aren't quite as popular that it might not connect to. So that's probably going to be pretty popular for a lot of people, that $199 a year. And then the other thing is I think that you probably should know that they're going to, continue to come out with features. I've watched the View software get updates and everything, and I think it has more capability, so you could see some of that unlock. Now, if you wanted to go champion package, it's $399 a year. Essentially what that's going to do is going to step up for the 50 profiles, 500 sessions, 1,000 Power U reports, and also their Refine Plus software. So maybe somebody that's doing instruction wants to get a ton of profiles and everything, they could do that. And then they would also get that Refine Plus software, which I've shown, full simulation. If you like the UNEEKOR, type simulation software, I've shown it. There's games, there's, different types of challenges, full courses, and they're looking to add US-based courses in their new software that's coming as well. And I'm assuming that's going to come into that subscription package. So we'll have to see where that goes. But there's also an unlocked package you can do. So for $19.99 on top of the $4,500, you can actually just fully unlock the unit. So you can get all of the champion package I just stated for $399, but it's unlocked for good. So essentially you're paying $6,500 or $6,499, and this unit's completely unlocked with all of those different features. Now, I know a lot of people have asked, well, how accurate is the UNEEKOR Eye Mini versus the GC3? They actually interfere. Any side unit with powerful infrared can interfere, and I've seen misses myself trying to test them. I will say that out of the shots that I got to hit well, they are very comparable. So I may try to do a video to where I can show you guys a handful of shots just showing how close the data really is. But from what I can tell so far on those shots that are working, and I can confirm there shouldn't have been interference, they are, really kind of within a whatever small percentage, let's call it, which the GC3 is within a small percentage, which, the quad or the whatever, maybe all these different units they all have a small margin compared to unrealistic perfect benchmark. I don't think there's a unit out there that somehow could measure perfectly. You need like a phantom camera launch monitor or something, which is obviously unrealistic. So, just understand, I think from what I've tested so far, I can be confident with the data that I'm receiving from both of these units, and you should be able to see that inside the channel. You know, I've hit so many shots on so many different units. You can go out and look at my 8-iron shots and compare all the different data points and see what each of them are delivering. So I hope this has helped everyone. I know that there's so many people asked, you know, for this video, and I tried to cover, you know, the basis, the most important things that you should understand. And, you know, obviously there might be little tiny likings that you find, you know, whether it could be something as stupid as the handle on one or the handle on another. But, you know, comment below and let me know what you think. Comment anything that I missed. I appreciate that. And if you're looking to purchase a, you know, golf simulator of any kind, make sure you shoot me an email. I'd love to help you guys out. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. There'll be a lot more coming soon.